first game is going to be in Germany. We've got Bayern versus Villarreal. Villarreal 1-0 up from the first leg. May well be kicking themselves that they didn't score at least 2 or 3, and that's being conservative. Bayern at -400, Villarreal at +1,000. What about the handicap of +120 for Villarreal not to get beaten by 2? Under or over 3.5 goals? I'm not sure we see 4 goals either. I'm going to start with you, Marco, here, because Bayern Villarreal, it's like the complete opposites. They are at each end of the spectrums. We've got Bayern all out attack and Villarreal who are happy to sit back, wait their turn, and then kill you on the break.
Yeah, this is fascinating, this match. I think it's all set up for a brilliant second leg. The first leg, it was uncanny, I thought, the parallels between Bayern's first leg against Salzburg and what they did against Villarreal, because they had majority of the possession, territory and the shots, but just so disappointed in their output and their invention and their artistry, really, when they had the ball and they were trying to break Villarreal down. I thought it was very disappointing. They didn't have a shot on target until the second half, and I know Muller missed that obvious sitter, but largely Villarreal restricted them to very few kind of clear-cut opportunities. And if you look at the expected goals output, and compare it with the shots that actually Bayern attempted, really low quality chances, and I think that's a testament to Unai Emery and setting his team up in a fashion which is difficult to sort of break them down. But we talked about it before the first leg. Emery does get targeted as being a defensive coach or a pragmatic coach. He's not that at all. He's a combination of the two. He's just smart, and they had a goal ruled out. Moreno hit the post. They really could and should have scored more from their opportunities that they created in transitions. But all through the team, Albiol, Pau Torres, terrific at the back. Etienne Capoue was brilliant in midfield. And then you've got the menace of Moreno up front and Danjuma's pace too. So, yeah, this tie is definitely not as kind of convincingly one-sided as the market suggests, for me anyway. And I was looking at that Villarreal handicap start. I thought it was quite interesting. You can actually get Villarreal +2 at a shorter price. I think it's about -140, but that would require Bayern to win by 3 goals to see the bet lose, which is a really hefty hurdle to overcome. But ultimately, I thought it comes down to the fact that Bayern just, you wouldn't want to sort of bet against them scoring, particularly in Munich. They're a goal-scoring machine. They are all-out attack, as you say, and you would expect them to, at some point, get on the score sheet. It's just what can Villarreal do in response. And, I'd back them to score. I think they've got the ability. They've shown that in the first leg, and I don't expect them to collapse in the same way that Salzburg did in Munich either. So I thought if Villarreal score, then I'm happy to look towards a goals-based angle, because the price was quite attractive. I think both teams are scoring over 2.5 goals is +100, which is really nice. And if you look at those goal markets that are up on the screen, it completely makes sense to me when the goal line is set at over 3.5 goals. Villarreal around -150 just to score. So to boost that up to +100 really does appeal. We've talked about it all season long about Bayern's frailties, their vulnerabilities defensively, particularly in transitions and counters. And I think they've kept 4 clean sheets in 15 this calendar year, and 10 of those 15 games have seen both teams scoring. So, they're going to have to push, and there's going to be opportunities for Villarreal. But the beauty of this is that it can be a consolation goal. Bayern can run up a cricket score, and it still doesn't really matter, really. As long as Villarreal get a goal, I expect this bet to land.
So do you fancy there be over 3.5 goals in this game?
I wouldn't be a backer, no. But I think that's why the value is definitely in over 2.5 goals, and both teams to score at +100 compared to the price which we're going to see now, which is effectively the same price. So if you're going to back over 3.5 goals, surely basically backing Bayern to win 4-0, unless you back over 2.5 and BTTS. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's the way I was looking at it.
Yeah, because I'm not even sure Bayern score 3 here, so I was happy to go and have a look at the under 2.5 at -110. I've got to be pro Villarreal here, because Villarreal, they can go there, frustrate, and then play the game that they want to play. Now, if Bayern score early, the gloves are off.
This is very difficult for me, because I've gone for both teams to score an over 2.5. Yeah. Now, this was the exact same bet that I placed last time, and I was kicking myself when I saw what you said afterwards, because you had mentioned, Flash, after when we were talking about this game, that you couldn't see Bayern scoring because Villarreal was so strong. And I know, this means a lot to Villarreal. Firstly, because Albiol is a veteran. I think he is one of the most intelligent defenders. I don't care what people talk to me about having pace and all of this. When you have the mind that he has, you can stop anyone. And then I think of Pau Torres, who is from the city, who has grown up with this hometown club, who has said no to every single club that has come for him and said, I want to stay here for at least one more year. He knows this is probably the last year before he needs to go and bring in the large amount of money that he can bring so that the club can survive and continue to thrive. So this means a lot for the team. And I also, another point, I don't like Julian Nagelsmann. I try very hard to like this coach, and I get that he has a philosophy, but for me, defense and pragmatism is very different. You can be a defensive coach, which I think actually Unai Emery is more defensive than he is pragmatic. And then you can be pragmatic, who is Ancelotti, who plays attacking football, but he does it according to the people that he has. Nagelsmann is just not pragmatic. And I think too often it's experimentation and they lack the balance overall. I don't see this team having the mental fortitude they used to have. I don't know whether it's because of so many changes or because they have had injuries that they haven't yet managed to build that fluidity. They are playing in front of their own fans. They are at home, and then that's when they are exceptional. But Unai Emery just might be more experienced. I think he's a lot cleverer in how he sets out his teams. And I also don't think this is a side that Bayern know how to play against, because they like teams that play football. And by that, I mean go out and leave lots of gaps in the back that they can try to take advantage of. Even Salzburg, even though they lost that first match, they know that they will commit enough errors at the back for them to trash them in the second half. But will Villarreal commit the same amount of errors? I think that they're actually very smart, can cope with the pressure. And I don't know whether Nagelsmann can be superb and he can really dazzle you, or whether he's recklessly naive and then really embarrass you. I still think there's 3 goals in this. I don't know how that will play out, frankly speaking, because I believe in Dan Juma, but I also obviously believe in everyone in Bayern Munich when it comes to scoring goals. So, and I still see both teams scoring at least 1.
I just love the fact that people forget that Villarreal are the current Europa League champions. There's no harder trophy to win. It's home and away. It's Thursday, Sunday, Thursday, Sunday, and you still get to go. You must play 60 games, and it's basically you've got to go on the road against some tough opposition. And the big thing about Villarreal for me is, I think you hit the nail on the head. Mental fortitude. I think that they're happy to play in tight areas. I think they'll go 4-5-1. They could even go 5-4-1. But see, when they win the ball, they spring, and I'm just wondering how desperate Bayern will get, because the crowd are going to be on Bayern's side, obviously. So Bayern, then you almost get like a wave of enthusiasm, and then you overcommit, like they did. They overcommitted so many times in Spain, and Villarreal should have put them to the sword. I think the Villarreal score. I like both your bets of both teams scoring over.
What about it's plus 1,000 for a Villarreal win. Like, it's almost just worth putting like a small amount of money on that.
But but the big thing is, if you're betting, then if you're going that way, you go Villarreal plus 1.5, or as Mark says, plus 2. So you can actually win, lose, or draw the game and still win. If Bayern win this game 2-1, remember the bet is only over 90 minutes, and whatever happens in extra time happens. I just think to myself that Villarreal do not get beat in this game by 2. I think that they can get a draw. And if it's a draw in the last 10 minutes of the game, Bayern are going to just throw the kitchen sink at Villarreal, and Villarreal could well go and win the game 2-1. I think
minus 140 for the plus 2.
Is that on the alternate line?
Yeah.
So you go to the top of here, you'll see it will say alternate lines, half time, first half, or draw no bet. So make sure if that's something you wanted, then go for that. But I can see Bayern winning the game maybe 2-1, like you're saying, and then it goes all the way, and then who knows who's going to win.
What happened to them against Juventus, where Juventus poured forward and then they managed? It could happen, right?
Well, let's put it this way: Juve are far more defensive-minded and defensive-savvy and more solid than Bayern Munich will ever be. And Villarreal scored 3 in 11 minutes. Just because
the flip side is Bayern Munich's ammunition in the forward areas is far
correct. If this is Bayern Munich 0, Villarreal 0, with 20 minutes to go, in play, Villarreal might still be plus 800 or 900. That's where you find the value, because Bayern have got to go and try and get a goal. I can see this being draw half time as well. I can see this being 0-0 first half.
I see this being a draw half time, yeah.
Let's see what everyone in the chats. Villarreal rested all their players in their last fixture. Yeah, that was nice because I actually had the under 2.5 goals at the weekend and it was 1-1. Anderson Don says penalties and Villarreal wins on penalties. There's plenty here that think that Villarreal are more than a match here, but then you can get blinded and forget that Bayern Munich do score 3s and 4s in quick time, but not really against this type of side. And the big thing with Villarreal, remember they went 1-0 down early at home to Juve and came back so strong for the next hour. They completely dominated. Yes, it was a 1-1 draw at home. Some would say that Villarreal are better on the road. Listen, it's going to be a great game to watch, but all the value really is for goals. Both teams scoring over, and Villarreal double chance. Villarreal -1.5. Let's have a little look at the official picks, please. Both teams scoring over is the consensus from both my experts. For me, it's Villarreal +1.5, a massive +120. So that means if I get beat 2-1, 3-2, and this goes to extra time, I'm an absolute winner. Benny 8 says Villarreal will score. So, both teams to score will be a half decent price as well. I think if Villarreal score, I think they go through by hook or by crook. Okay, that's a cracking first game because everyone would have had Bayern to win this over 2 legs early on.